Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you all from your respective locations. This is the top story in world news. Everyone around the world is talking about it. Even Western media found themselves compelled to talk about what their own eyes witnessed today, May 9th, 2025, in Moscow. They had no choice. President Vladimir Putin set the bar very high, extremely high, since he had promised that they want this celebration to be held on an unprecedented scale. And indeed, he achieved a good result. He reached his goal. And Vladimir Putin took advantage of this historic celebration. He updated this historic celebration. He took the opportunity to stage a show of strength, to demonstrate to the West the military power that the Russian army possesses. As part of the parade that took place well before Vladimir Putin's speech, as you can see in the footage, men marched, women marched, vehicles marched, drones also marched, including next-generation drones. There is no show of strength greater than this. Meanwhile, Volodymyr Zelensky, the Ukrainian president, the young comedian who had promised to send drones or missiles onto the crowd, was very upset by the success of this event and the high level of security present, very upset, and he responded. He gave his first reaction. So, in the context of this video conference, that's what we're going to talk about. Russia has displayed its power, the power of its army. Putin has showcased the strength of his military. So, before continuing with the video conference, I ask you to share it as much as possible. Share it in all possible groups. And so, it should be noted that this is the parade for the 80th anniversary of the victory in the Great Patriotic War, which is taking place right now on Red Square in Moscow. So more than 11,000 military personnel took part in the parade. More than 11,000 soldiers, including 1,500 who are participating in the special military operation. Participating in the special military operation. So, among those who marched, out of the 11,000, there are 1,500 who are taking part in the special military operation in Ukraine, who came here to take part in the parade. And it is because of them that the truce was established. So, what's happening? The Russian Minister of Defense, Andrei Belousov, attended. This minister, assisted by the Commander-in-Chief of the Ground Forces, Oleg Salikov, led the review of the troops, as you can see in the footage. This is unprecedented. Vladimir Putin's Russia wanted this time to make a strong impression on the citizens of the world, but especially to leave a mark on the minds of Westerners, and Russia succeeded in achieving its goal, since it had an effect on the Western side. And so, beyond this review of the troops, the types of weapons that paraded today, of course, allowed Russia to show the West what kind of weapons Russia possesses. What technological capabilities, what military industry expertise does Russia have? So, they went by. They went by. They went by. The weapons went by. Tanks and armored vehicles passed by with incredible demonstrations. Not to mention that fighter jets flew through the Russian skies, in the Russian sky, spraying the colors of Russia. That's white, red, and blue. So fighter jets performed demonstrations in the air. That's it. And then there was applause. It was a joyful moment. All of this was accompanied by Vladimir Putin's speech. But it should also be noted that Vladimir Putin emphasized one point. He said that this celebration is twofold. It is both a celebration of the victory over Nazi Germany, but also and above all a celebration of the victory over the neo-Nazis, meaning the victory of the special military operation. This is the new element that Vladimir Putin introduced it into this celebration. And these are the parts that are very, very painful for the West. And as you know, in order to disrupt and divert attention from the May 9th celebration, the European Union and the Western countries organized their own event at home. We will come back to this, but it was a resounding failure. Yesterday, by the way, Emmanuel Macron organized a similar event at his place. We will come back to this. Now, on his side, Volodymyr Zelensky, who was very, very upset, made some highly inappropriate remarks about the world leaders who gathered in Moscow. And these remarks risk creating a precedent between Ukraine and those countries whose presidents are present in Moscow. Since the conflict between Ukraine and Russia concerns only Ukraine and Russia. So why does Volodymyr Zelensky insist on involving other countries at all costs? What did Volodymyr Zelensky say? He said this. He said, it's a crowd of killers in disguise. So the crowd he saw there, he says, it's a crowd of people who send others to their eternal rest, but who are in disguise. So that means they're hitting everyone with the same stick he wanted to use against Vladimir Putin. They consider everyone present to be criminals. For now, though, they're focused on the celebration. After the celebration, we'll see what follows, what will come out of it. Whatever happens, Volodymyr Zelensky is very upset, and the others, who claim to be world powers, opposed to and enemies of Russia, have seen with their own eyes what was paraded in Moscow. It's as if to tell them, be careful if you provoke us. We have forces on our side. If we celebrate the victory of our ancestors who at the time had no resources, today we have far more means at our disposal. We can do worse than what our ancestors had to do. What our forefathers had to do, I was about to say. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the headline news. We will come back to it later with some updates. Thank you for sharing the video conference as much as possible. This was the voice of your humble servant, Robert Théa.